This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 29th day of October in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley, and here's what we're tracking tonight. President Irfan Ali today appeared to be softening on his long-held position that he will only meet with the opposition leader Joe Harman if Mr. Harman publicly acknowledges his government as legitimate. The two men have not held formal discussions since Mr. Ali was sworn in as president more than a year ago. There are a number of top judicial and other appointments to be made that must involve consultation with the opposition leader. At a press conference today, the president said he will have to fulfill his mandate in keeping with the Constitution, and he recognizes that there is no precondition to that.
There is no precondition to fulfilling my mandate in accordance with the Constitution. But there is an issue, and this is outside of that mandate in relation to my constitutional role, where you have someone who is continuously saying that this government is illegitimate. So he has a moral problem. How does he explain talking to some government he is claiming is illegitimate? That's his moral problem.
Earlier this week, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly Lennox Schumann wrote to the President encouraging him to meet with Mr. Harman on the appointments of a substantial Chancellor, Chief Justice, Police Commissioner, and Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defense Force. Mr. Schumann reminded the President that his administration has been in office for over a year, and despite the mountain of calls to make the substantive appointments, there has been no movement in that regard. The President today said the matter at hand is about doing what the Constitution requires, and not because someone told him to do so. He said it will be up to the opposition leader now to explain why he is meeting with someone who he deems to be illegitimate.
Whatever the Constitution requires me to do, I will do. I have no hesitation in doing that.
The opposition leader has always said he is willing to meet with the President on the appointments. The President has been coming on the growing criticism and growing pressure locally and internationally for him to begin engaging with the opposition leader on national and constitutional issues. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true, or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Dollar, come get your Buster, Buster $100.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Alana! Oh my gosh, it's so great to see you.
You must have heard. That's why you're here at GPL. The great news, GPL's 22 for 22.
I absolutely did hear. They're giving away supermarket vouchers worth $25,000 to 22 customers.
Isn't it just awesome how GPL is giving back to the community, though?
For sure. But you know what you need to do? You need to ensure your account is completely settled, while prepaid customers need to purchase credit during the promo period, and make sure that you ask for that coupon. Nobody's left out.
GPL's 22 for 22. Promotions run October 1 through October 15th.
GBTI, make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
Welcome back. Double murder accused Kapildio Gangadin, who escaped from the Luzaknan jail on Thursday morning, was recaptured this morning in the West Bank Demerara village of Andaniming. Gangadin was arrested by the police and was found with a new haircut and his face completely shaven. In a statement, the police force said that he was recaptured at around 9:30 this morning in a minibus heading to Parika. The police received information about his presence on the bus and the roadblock was set up at Andaniming, resulting in his recapture. He was removed from the bus without incident and taken back into custody. The Guyana Prison Service offered its thanks to the members of the public who provided information that led to the arrest of the double murder accused. Meanwhile, the Director of Prisons, Nicolan Elliott, has assured that the Guyana Prison Service stands resolute in maintaining security within the country's prisons. He also said that officers who fail to adhere to the established security rules in order to maintain a secure and efficient environment in the prison system will be sanctioned. The Luzaknan prison has been dogged by several escapes in the past few years. The prisoner who escaped yesterday and was recaptured today was charged last week with the murder of Strathspey youth Chris Passad during a robbery. He was also charged with another murder from more than a year ago. The prison service said the man escaped from a quarantine unit at the prison and managed to jump over 2 security fences without being noticed by the prison guards. Turning now to that upcoming climate change meeting. As the date moves closer towards the International Climate Change Conference, COP26, Guyana is expected to go to the conference with a united front, with other developing nations in an effort to get the developed countries to honor their obligations to the Paris Climate Change Accord. President Irfan Ali announced today that CARICOM and other regional organizations will stand together at the summit with one collective voice.
Almost all the leaders are going to represent their interests. But in CARICOM, we have had many meetings on coordinating our efforts. We are working with EOSIS, we are working with CARICOM, we are working with CELAC on joint position and coordination.
The Paris Agreement sets out the global framework to avoid dangerous climate change by limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius and pursuing efforts to limit to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It also aims to strengthen the ability of countries to deal with the impacts of climate change and support them in their efforts. The Paris Agreement is the first ever universal legally binding global climate change agreement, adopted at the Paris Climate Change Conference back in 2015. A total of 190 countries, including Guyana, have signed on to the agreement. The president said the developed nations have not been fulfilling their end of the agreement.
At the Alliance of Small Island States, EOSIS Leaders Summit, I called for a renewed global effort in the fight against climate change to meet the goal of the Paris Agreement. Now, many may say that it's a broken record calling for the developed world to meet their commitment in terms of the $100 billion pledge, and that message has been overworked and we're getting nowhere with that message. Well, we can compare it to the democracy message. Democracy is important. We have to keep talking about democracy where democracy doesn't exist, but it's not overworked. It is important. We can't talk about new commitments on climate issues and climate change when we are not honoring the existing commitment of $100 billion.
President Ali also emphasized the importance of the funds that are critical in ensuring the developing nations which are more vulnerable be funded to ensure they recover from the effects of climate change.
We also identified priority issues for the Caribbean Small Island Developing States sits on the heels of COP26. We call on leaders to share particular focus on climate change and disaster risk management, access to concessional financing, high levels of indebtedness, natural disaster funds, and graduated transition. Guyana supports the establishment of a voluntary fund to facilitate regional disaster response.
The COP26 Climate Change Conference, which will be held in November, is expected to bring parties together to accelerate action towards the goals of the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. 6 additional deaths from COVID-19 on Thursday have pushed the death toll recorded so far for October to 111. Of the 6 more recent deaths, 5 were unvaccinated persons, while the 6th person who died was partially vaccinated. Since the start of the month, 3,670 new cases of the virus have been recorded. The Minister of Health reported today that there has been a decline in the number of persons needing ICU care in the past few days, but he continues to be concerned that too many people are still falling ill from the virus, and the vast majority of them are unvaccinated persons.
Currently, we do have, I would say, excess capacity because our cases at the hospital have come down quite a bit. Right now, we have 41 patients at the hospital, and we have 17 persons in the ICU. That is coming down from when we would have on average 38 patients in the ICU and probably about 120 patients in the hospital itself. So that's a significant difference.
Guyana's overall COVID-19 death toll now stands at 910. Well, despite the mounting calls by the Guyana Public Service Union for a meeting with the President to discuss increases in wages, salaries, and allowances for public servants, the President today declared that the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service Ministry are most ideal to engage the union. Public servants have not received a pay increase since 2019, and despite the rising cost of living, there were no provisions in the 2 budgets presented by the Irfan Ali administration to butter up the salaries of the country's almost 40,000 public servants. The President, however, is assuring that before the year ends, public servants will receive a salary increase.
But as I said earlier this year, that we are committed to increases for the public servants, and that commitment will be fulfilled before the end of the year.
Earlier this year, the Ministry of Public Service rejected a request by the Guyana Public Service Union to meet with a stipulated time frame on wages negotiations. The move forced the union to write to the Trade Union Recognition Board for the government to be sanctioned. The union argued that the ministry's stance amounts to a pellucid and perpetual refusal to negotiate with the representative of the workers in the public service and signals blatant disrespect towards all public servants. The union has explained that in keeping with Clause 6 of the legally binding agreement for the avoidance and settlement of disputes between the government and the union, a number of letters were written during the period September 1, 2020 and the 7th of July this year, addressed to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of the Public Service, requesting the commencement of negotiations for salaries, wages, and allowances for the years 2020 and 2021. There has been no favorable response from the ministry. Now let's tell you that 3 days after ranks from the Customs Anti-Narcotics Unit swooped down on the home of businessman Andre Gomes, also known as Zipper, and found over 4 pounds of cocaine, Gomes and another man, Eon Joseph, were today charged with cocaine trafficking. In the court after the charges were read, the other man, Eon Joseph, entered a guilty plea to the cocaine possession and trafficking charges. He was immediately sentenced to 3 years in prison. The businessman Andre Gomes, who was previously charged with cocaine trafficking and freed for insufficient evidence, entered a not guilty plea to the latest charges. He was remanded to prison and will have to make his next court appearance in November. The canoe operation at Gomes' property in Campbellville appeared well organized and planned. The cocaine was discovered in 2 large blocks and the arrests were immediately made. Gomes is being represented by attorney Sion DeJourne.
Farfan and Mendes is committed to promoting development through quality, service, and integrity. Customers are guaranteed genuine products, reliability, and excellence in service. Their corporate head office at Providence affords you the added convenience of a spacious showroom with secured parking. Farfan and Mendes continues to offer their valued customers a wide range of genuine and affordable German-engineered equipment. They're leading the way in clean, green alternative energy solutions with industry-leading brands of solar equipment. Also visit their showroom at Providence and enjoy efficient and courteous service. Barfoot and Mendes, offering you solutions you can depend on.
Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobil Special and all other Mobil lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados is experiencing a surge in the number of COVID-19 infected patients who are presenting to the acute care facility at death's door, reports the Barbados Today. The report says that in some cases, some are pronounced dead on arrival, and in at least one case already decomposing. Director of Medical Services at the hospital, Dr. Clyde Cave, made the chilling revelations as he disclosed that trends at the country's primary healthcare facility are pointing to community spread of much higher proportion than the daily numbers suggest. The leading physician explained that many of the gravely ill are not known to the coordinators of the home isolation system and are only identified as COVID positive post-mortem. To explain the extent of the country's community spread, the Medical Services Director revealed that a staggering 10% of pregnant women in Barbados receiving routine tests before delivering are being diagnosed with COVID-19. In Grenada, the limited reopening of schools announced recently by the country's education minister comes into effect on the 1st of November. The decision to reopen schools for a 2-week period for a specified group of students was taken after intensive consultation with the Ministry of Health and Education stakeholders, including the Education Advisory Council, management boards of denominational schools, the Grenada Union of Teachers, principals, parents, and students. Among the issues highlighted were students who have not been engaged in online learning since the commencement of the current school term, exam readiness of students in exit classes such as Form 5, and the inability to engage early learners online in significant ways. Students who are low performing and reading below their grade level, remote learning difficulties faced by special education students, and teachers who are not engaging their students and teachers who are challenged in creating quality content for online learning are among the issues that forced the reopening. And finally tonight, international news. U.S. President Joe Biden has told France's Emmanuel Macron that the U.S. was clumsy over a security pact signed between the U.S., the U.K. and Australia that lost France billions of dollars. It was the first meeting between the two leaders since the AUKUS Pact, which will let Australia build nuclear-powered submarines, was agreed. The deal caused a row with France, which lost a $37 billion deal with Australia. Mr. Macron said it was important to look to the future. The meeting between the two presidents took place at France's Vatican Embassy in Rome. It was part of a series of meetings between the US President and world leaders ahead of the G20 summit of major economies this weekend and next week's UN Climate Summit COP26 in Scotland. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.